2026 at 7 o'clock p.m. If you will call the roll, Ms. Howell.
Mr. King,
Here.
Mr. Dawson,
Present.
Mr. Greer,
Here.
Ms. Eulis,
Here.
Mr. Pate,
Here.
Mr. Callie,
Here.
Mr. Ritt,
Present.
Vice Mayor McDonald,
Present.
Mayor Anderson.
Present.
All right, if you will, join me in our prayer and pledge. Heavenly Father, we give thanks for the privilege and responsibility to serve the city of Fairview. We ask for your guidance and wisdom as we deliberate and make decisions that will impact the lives of our citizens. May we always strive to be just, fair, and compassionate in our actions. Forgive our sins and guide us to make decisions that reflect your will and honor your name. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Amen.
And we have one citizen comment tonight. If you
Yes.
will, step forward. State
Mr.
your,
David Whitworth, sorry.
thank you. If you will, state your name and address, and you have 3 minutes, please.
Thank you so much. My name is David Whitworth, and I own property at 7300 County Line Road. And thank you for your time this evening. I'm here to ask y'all to think carefully about the rezoning of 7110 County Line Road from CD2 Rural to SDLI Light Industrial. First and foremost, I believe a comprehensive traffic study should be conducted before any rezoning can be considered. County Line Road is a tiny residential street, barely 1 lane wide near its entrance. Without a formal traffic study, road widening and possibly repaving, introducing industrial truck traffic could be downright dangerous for the residents who live on the street. Furthermore, pushing more traffic onto Highway 96 without an improvement plan could severely back up the morning commute for both Fairview residents and those traveling from Dixon towards Nashville. Second, this rezoning contradicts the property's 2019 annexation. At that time, the owner assured the Board of Commissioners that he planned to use the lot as a family residence. In fact, the board's own September 2019 meeting notes explicitly state that the same access and traffic issues I've mentioned tonight should be addressed prior to any non-residential rezoning along County Line Road. Finally, an industrial designation is incompatible with our neighborhood. Your own staff report notes that the SD-LI district does not align with the lot's rural settlement classification. Rezoning this property potentially opens the door for incompatible businesses, to name a few, like cement factories, fuel refineries, or even animal processing plants, to operate directly at the entrance of our residential street. Thank you for considering these critical issues and protecting our neighborhood. And thank you for your time. Again, I appreciate it.
Thank you for your comment. All right, I will move to item number 5, approval of tonight's agenda for the July 14th, 2026 meeting. I will entertain a motions to approve.
Motion to approve. Second.
All right, Callie and Pape, sorry.
Mr. Callie,
Bard.
Aye.
Mr. Pate,
Aye.
Mr. King,
Abstain.
Mr. Dawson,
Aye.
Mr. Greer,
Aye.
Ms. Eulis,
Aye.
Mr. Ritt,
Aye.
Vice Mayor McDonald,
Aye.
Mayor Anderson.
Aye.
All right, motion passes 8-1. Item number 6, approval of minutes from the June 9th, 2026 regular meeting. I'll entertain motions to approve.
Motion to approve. Second.
Callie Pape.
Mr. Callie,
Aye.
Mr. Pate,
Aye.
Mr. King,
Abstain.
Mr. Dawson,
Aye.
Mr. Greer,
Abstain.
Ms. Eulis,
Aye.
Mr. Ritt,
Aye.
Vice Mayor McDonald,
Aye.
Mayor Anderson.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-2. All right, moving on to item 7, old business. There is none tonight. Item 8, new business. Item A, election of Planning Commission chairperson. Okay. I will open the floor for nominations.
I make a motion to nominate Haley Schulist as chairperson.
Second.
Okay, Ms. Halby, will let's call her that vote.
Mayor Anderson,
Aye.
Mr. Greer,
Aye.
Mr. King,
Aye.
Mr. Dawson,
Aye.
Ms. Ulyss,
Abstained.
Mr. Pape,
Aye.
Mr. Callie,
Aye.
Mr. Ritt,
Aye.
Vice Mayor McDonald.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes. I'll entertain, we're going to also vote on vice chair, correct? All right, item B, election of Planning Commission vice chairperson. I will entertain nominations for that.
Make a motion to nominate Jeff Pape as vice chair.
Second.
Al, if you will call that vote. McDonald, I think. Oh, Mr. Callie.
Mayor Anderson,
Aye.
Mr. Callie,
Aye.
Mr. King,
Aye.
Mr. Dawson,
Aye.
Mr. Greer,
Aye.
Ms. Ulyss,
Aye.
Mr. Pape,
Abstain.
Mr. Ritt,
Aye.
Vice Mayor McDonald.
Aye.
All right, motion passes 8-1. Okay, moving on to item C, PC.
Ms. Schulist?
Yes.
On the announcement of that vote, I think you mean 801 with one abstain?
Yes.
Okay, and then I would
Apologies.
make the same, just so the record's clear. On the approval of the minutes, I think you announced it was 7-2, it was actually 7-0-2, with 2 abstained, 0 against, and 7-4.
Yes.
Okay.
Would you like me to make an amendment or
No,
anything?
no, I think as long as
The minutes
I just want to make sure
reflect it.
we're all on the same page, so the minutes don't reflect a negative vote when it was intended as
Sure.
an abstention.
Fair. Okay. All right. Item C, PC Resolution PC 2326, Tree Bank Fund Request, Cry Like Plaza, Map 42, Parcel 126.01, Acreage 1.79, Current Zoning CG Commercial General, Property Owner Harold Cry. I will entertain a motion to approve for discussion.
Make a motion to approve PC 2326.
Second.
Callie, and that was Dawson.
Yep.
All right. Staff, if you will give us your report.
Thank you, Chair. PC 2326, this is a request from Jason Murphy from Crylike, has submitted a request to make a contribution to the Tree Bank Fund related to the Crylike Plaza commercial development located on Fairview Boulevard. Project location is just north of 2135 Fairview Boulevard and south of Cedar Crest Lane. Mr. Murphy was contacted by email by former city planner Ethan Greer, July 24th, 2025, asking for a decision on how the developer would handle tree replacement on the site. Through subsequent emails and submission of information from Mr. Murphy to staff to review, their decision was made to request an exception to permit them to make a contribution to the Tree Bank Fund. Just to refresh everyone's memory, Section 2-103.4 of the Fairview Design Manual does permit an applicant/developer to request an exception that would allow a contribution to the Tree Bank Fund when all tree caliper inches removed on the site are not able to be replaced back onto the site. The exception request is required to come before the Planning Commission for review and final decision, which brings us here this evening. The emails through staff was stated there was just below 700 caliper inches that were not replaced on the site. So the decision was to replace the 698.5 inches of trees or appear before you all with the rate of $50 per inch. And so tonight, the request is to pay that amount into the tree bank fund, which is approximately $40,000. And so staff recommends Planning Commission approve the tree bank fund exception to make the contribution to the Fairview Tree Bank Fund. It's made possible by Section 2-103.4 for the Cry-Lake Plaza non-residential development. And there are no outstanding conditions of approval.
Thank you. Is there a representative tonight here for the project? Okay.
Madam Chair,
Mayor?
could you repeat that total going into the tree bank fund if this is approved again?
Yes, I will. Calculated that exactly, just to make sure I'm giving you the right
I'm not
amount.
questioning, I just didn't hear
Yeah,
it.
no, I understand. Just want to make sure I did give you the correct amount there. It would be sorry about that. It would be $34,925.
And who calculated this? Not the amount, but who calculated how many trees were
This was calculated by staff.
before they were cut down when it was private property?
This was calculated based on the approved site plan. And then through their development of the site, Mr. Greer had reached out to them on July of 2025 and had indicated the amount removed and the replacement required, which left the deficit of 698.5 inches of trees. And then they were provided the two options of either provide those additional inches on site or come before you all to request the exception to pay into the tree bank fund.
Mayor, to add to that just a little bit, when they submitted their grading permit, they provided a landscape plan as well as an existing survey of the site, which included all trees that were existing before grading occurred. So that's where we were able to determine how many trees were removed when they did the grading.
Thank you. That answers my questions. Thank you.
Madam Chairman,
Vice Chair?
you mentioned a site plan approval. We haven't approved a site plan for this site, have we? No, so you're just talking about.
Yeah,
basically
I
landscape
think
plan.
Kevin just
Sorry, yeah.
misspoke. Yeah, it was just a
Yeah, it was
grading
the
permit
grading
with a
permit.
grading plan. That's probably what he's indicating. Yes.
So basically, we took the existing trees, and you have half a replacement, so we basically went with half of the trees that are gone, assuming they're not going to replace a single tree on site, and that's how the calculation was done?
Yes.
That's correct. That there was a goal to replace trees, but they didn't follow the landscape plan, which is why they're providing the full amount.
In my opinion, it just seems odd. Obviously, it's frustrating they cut the trees down. We didn't even have a chance to consider the possibility of them having a site plan where they might have saved. There was like a 40-inch tree on the plan. There's a 32-inch tree. We got no opportunity to potentially approve a site plan that could have saved one or two of those trees, and that's extremely disappointing in my point, in my, in my view of the way this happened. So anyway, that's my position.
700 caliber feels like a lot. Is that more than the standard? Sorry.
I don't know of
For
a standard
average.
removal. I guess as far as density goes, I mean, I'd have to look at the existing conditions, but I don't know about differences between different properties.
Fair.
Yeah, I would just add in, it is pretty site-specific. I mean, I think most sites here in Fairview would be fairly wooded, but I think there are some that are not as densely populated with trees. And so I think it is site to site. So I think it would be kind of hard to say that would be high or low or kind of a standard. I know from just plans that I've reviewed a few years here of assisting, I think 700 seems a little higher than normal, but also too, I think this is also taking into account the entire site.
Madam Chair,
Sir.
this is a question for staff. The rate of tree bank donations per caliber inch, how is that formulated? As far as how does the price, who sets the price on that fund?
The $50 per caliper inch is a standard set within the design review manual. So it is a standard $50 per caliper inch, not replaced.
And how often is that rate reviewed?
I am not sure that rate has ever been reviewed.
The reason I ask is, you know, at some point, if the rate of replacement of a tree, let's just shoot numbers, is $75 a caliber inch, the developer could actually go, oh, well, it's just cheaper to donate to the fund, thereby circumventing and actually saving money, versus if we potentially look at that rate and escalate that to something that's, you know, standard to 2026, may be, I wouldn't say a deterrent, but maybe another option that we have as a city to prevent situations like this in the future. That's all I have.
Staff can for sure look into that and see if that's equal to other communities that have this type of practice. I can only speak to the few years I've been assisting. I know we have not reviewed the rate since I've been here assisting.
Madam Chair.
Sure.
This is also a question for staff. I guess we find ourselves typically, right, you would come and ask for this exception prior to removing the trees, and if you were granted that, then you would go ahead and remove them. So in the event that we were to deny this request, how does that play out?
They would have to, I think they would have to replant them.
Thank you, and this is completely just trying to quickly give an answer. I believe you would be in a position of, they brought forward the site plan, whatever landscaping they proposed on that site plan for the final build out, then they would most likely take those caliper inches and place towards this total, and then they would I would presume they would most likely request a tree bank fund contribution at that time, but it would be a lesser value because then they would factor in any landscape they were proposing on a final site plan. That would just be the quick thought that I would have on that.
It is, I guess, unorthodox for trees to be removed on a property prior to this being granted, correct? Whoever can answer that.
I believe that is correct.
So I guess ultimately what I'm getting at is, the way I see it, this individual just went and did what they wanted to do, and now the trees aren't there, so it's like, well, take my money or what? It seems like a precedent that's being set that, well, you can guarantee yourself that you can just pay into the tree bank fund as long as you remove the trees before you come in front of the planning commission. And I think that is problematic on a large scale. So I would like to understand options from this position, and I'll stop there.
No. I believe the new development code also has a tree bank fund. I believe you're going to see that tonight on multiple agenda items. And I'm almost certain in this development code that cannot be done in that process. Planners, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that is true.
Well, I guess, I mean, ignoring our rules and regulations, I'm just curious, because it's just a do what you want and ask for forgiveness later situation, and we just have, you know, like, that's the part I don't understand, is how there's no fallout from jumping ahead of the process. It just seems wrong to me.
Mr. McDonald, I tend to agree. I feel like we would be setting a precedent of asking for forgiveness for other projects. So I'm not in favor of approving this tree bank fund.
Madam Chair?
Ma'am?
Okay, let me understand, because I looked into this quite a bit. And I agree with Vice Mayor McDonald and Madam Chairman. This property was private property. I'm sorry. That's okay. I should have addressed you, I'm sorry. So this property was private property prior to them getting rezoning? Private property? Harold Cry owned this property?
I do not know the history of when this
And where I'm
property was
going with
rezoned.
this is, if there's a piece of property that's private property, how do we prevent this from happening going forward? That's a question. And is there anything we can do to prevent somebody who owns private property that's not, like, you know what I'm saying, that's not zoned something other than just residential, clear cutting, and then after the fact, coming in and asking what they're asking today? Because I had a real problem with that, but I don't know how we circumvent that with it being private property prior.
We can take a look into this and see, to answer that question, Mayor. If you just allow us some time, we could probably figure that out for you. It may not be this meeting, so we may have to talk
And I
about it
definitely
next
don't want to
meeting.
put you on the spot, but also I hear what Mr. Broadbent's saying is, anyway, I'm getting everybody confused, y'all are sitting at different tables. So I get what you're saying about if we don't approve the tree bank fund and they put in landscaping, the price goes down, and then if there's not really anything we can do differently except have them plant all the trees back, right?
Yes, I mean, that would be my first thought. If it is going to be developed, they're going to have a landscape plan. They're going to be required for a landscape plan. They're going to have to meet the requirements of the new code for landscaping, and that, I would presume that amount that they install would then be taken away from this amount that was removed, and ultimately that would lead to a smaller contribution request. And again, even that contribution request, it's still a request before you all that you all would have to approve even then.
So I guess what we're saying is we either not approve it and they have to plant back, or we do approve it and get the most amount we can get tonight for the tree bank fund, because in the future, when they come back, they're going to be asking for the same thing.
I think something that's important here that I need to add, and I wish the applicant was here tonight.
I do too.
Is that they are intending on selling this property. And so if the tree bank fund is denied and they plant the landscaping trees, if they sell the property, there's going to be no control in what that future property owner does with those trees. So ultimately, there's a possibility that all of those newly planted landscape trees will be removed by the new property owner if they're going to develop this into, whatever it's going to be. Staff, correct me if I'm wrong, we have seen a site plan for this particular property. Is that accurate? We had a staff applicant meeting for that?
I don't,
Or was that, I'm sorry, that was just a pre-application meeting, Nick? Yeah,
we haven't
okay.
seen any formal submittal.
Gotcha. So we've seen the layout of it, and, it does appear that a portion of those trees will have to be removed. So something to consider as well. Again, wish the applicant was here to communicate
So
that.
would it be appropriate to defer this until the applicant is here to answer questions?
That is up for the board.
In my opinion, when applicants don't show up, the board shouldn't even consider it, and it should be deferred until the applicant's here. If they don't care enough to be here to make their request, especially a serious one like this, I don't know if we should be spending a lot of time on it ourselves.
Then
Because
I
we-
make a motion to defer this item until the next meeting.
Second.
Right, that was Mayor Anderson and Vice Mayor McDonald.
And also, we need to, I'm sure you will, but just make sure that they get a letter or something so they know that they need to be at the next meeting. I know you do that. I'm just, just putting it out there.
Sure. All right, Ms. Howell, if you,
Madam Chair, before
Sure.
we take the
Yep.
vote, can I just make a quick comment?
for sure.
I agree. When an applicant doesn't show up, I hate to spend time and talk about it much, but in this particular case, it's extremely frustrating. I would say, first of all, the site plan that they've submitted for a pre-application meeting, I assume that'll be governed under the new ordinance. So the new ordinance is much stricter on trees and everything. If they went and replanted everything tomorrow, we would still be having the same conversation, except they will have to replant even more, potentially. It depends. I guess they wouldn't be specimen trees at that point because they'll replant small trees. But, they'll have to follow the new ordinance. But forget that for a second. In my opinion, we should be saying no to this. I'm fine saying no tonight, but we can do what the board desires. If we say no, they simply have to come back in the future and ask. And anytime somebody asks us for a variance, we have every right to continue to say no until we like the plan, until they add additional landscaping, until they do all kinds of things. So we have all kinds of things we can do to get a plan on this property that, you know, maybe does plant significantly larger trees than our landscaping ordinance requires. So there's a lot of flexibility on what we can do moving forward when they bring that application forward. You know, if we deny this tonight or we deny it whenever they come back. I'd love to hear what the applicant has to say, but that's just my opinion moving forward. We have lots of options if we deny this on control of this site moving forward, in my opinion.
Madam Chair,
Sir.
I guess one of the questions I have is if we were to say no to this tonight or next time we have this conversation, I mean, what does enforcement look like on this? Is there a timeline that these people would have to replant these trees? Would they be able to sell the property before they were replanted? What would be the restrictions on this piece of property if we kind of found that we said no and found that they were liable to plant all these?
Yeah, we do have the landscape plan that was submitted, so we could move forward with, you know, enforcing the fact that they submitted that landscape plan, and that was what was stated that would be planted here. So we could obviously move forward with requiring that to be planted. Now, I don't know the timeline for them to acquire the plant material and be on site and install, but we would have that landscape plan that they submitted as part of the grading permit, as far as stating this is what they were going to do. And so we could move forward with requiring them to do that. In terms of them selling the property, they would, you know, they would still have the ability to
I think it follows
sell.
the property, yeah.
Yeah, they would still have the ability to sell, but the requirement would go along with the property, as attorney just said, and so we would still have the ability to enforce that. Now, if it's sold and then the new owner comes in and says, formally submits their site plan, this is our landscape plan, this is what we're going to go forward with, then I think we could have some conversations at looking at what was first submitted and what the new landscape plan might be, and what is their overlap, is there increase in the new plan or the new submitted plan?
Yeah, that makes sense. And I mean, I agree with everything Mr. Pape said 100%. I guess my only concern is that if we did say no, this change hands 2 or 3 times and this lot sits empty for 2 years while a development plan gets worked on and nobody makes any movement on replanting.
Madam Chair,
Sir.
I think from a consistency standpoint, I think our board up here wants to ensure that the city and the citizens of the city are given the same opportunity and they're held to the same standard, regardless of whatever money goes into whatever fund. I think everyone needs to be held to the same standard, and unless we adequately enforce that consistently around the board, there's a perception that someone could come in with X amount of money and just make problems go away. So I think from a fairness standpoint to everybody here, whether you have a half acre or you have 400 acres, the standard is the standard. And now's a good chance to enforce that consistency with a new ordinance and a new zoning plan. That's all I have.
Madam Chair.
Sir.
One more question for staff. I might have missed it. So they submitted a grading plan, and then they also submitted a landscaping plan at the same time, and that was approved, and that replaced the 700 caliper inches. I'm a little confused about the approved landscaping plan that keeps being mentioned.
I don't know if I know the answer to that question currently. I'd have to do some digging to figure
Because
that out.
I don't know that a landscape plan can be approved as part of a grading plan without coming before a planning commission. I'm not sure. That I don't know entirely.
Right.
So like, if there's no approved landscaping plan, then they can't just go out there and replant the trees. They would have to get approval of the landscaping plan. We would have to be comfortable with it and all that. So I just wanted to clarify that. So again, that's probably maybe even more reason to table it so that we can get all those answers as well. So.
I will point out what you see on the screen is the landscape plan and plant material schedule that they did provide as part of the grading permit. I think if you look at it, essentially they were just looking at installing trees around the boundary of the property, so not any type of internal no type of internal landscaping, but replacing or planting along the boundaries, essentially creating some type of buffer for properties adjacent to it, although development hadn't been approved for the site. So this is the landscape plan that had been submitted as part of the grading permit.
I mean, my math really quick is terrible, but looks like they're replanting, call it a little over 100 trees at, I don't know what caliper inches they are. So there's nowhere near the 700 caliper inches on that plan. So I don't think that landscape plan satisfies our ordinance. They would have to either submit a plan that planted 700 caliper inches, or they would have to have a variance from us. So I don't think this landscape plan even satisfies our ordinance. So that's just really quick math.
I found the email chain. The previous city planner, Ethan Greer, states that if they planted all these trees in the landscape plan, the amount would be $34,925 versus, did you say, Kevin, $44,425?
He corrected it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's consistent with the fact that this plan needs a variance to be able to buy into the tree bank because it doesn't satisfy the full 700.
Yes, but I think there's also an option that you can plant trees off-site. I believe that is true.
That's still part of the variance. It's one or the other. We have to
Okay.
grant the variance for them to either plant off-site or buy into the tree bank. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So knowing all that, continue on with our amendment.
According to Robert's rules, if you make a motion to defer, it takes precedence over any other motion.
We have a first and a second. I
Right.
believe it's been
Correct.
seconded, so it needs to be voted on, and
Yep.
if there's no more discussion, and then either it passes or it fails, and we go.
All right. Any further discussion? Any other questions? All right, Ms. Howell, if you will call that vote, please.
Mayor Anderson,
Aye.
Vice Mayor McDonald,
Aye.
Mr. King,
Aye.
Mr. Dawson,
Aye.
Mr. Greer,
Abstain.
Ms. Shoelist,
Aye.
Mr. Pape,
Aye.
Mr. Callie,
Aye.
Mr. Ritt.
Aye.
All right. Motion passes 8-0-1.
You'll see that next month, 30 days, and we'll get it back on. Staff will dig in, and hopefully the applicant will take it seriously and come to the meeting.
All right, moving on to item D, PC Resolution PC 2426, Residential Development Plan, Crow Cut Ridge Subdivision, Map 46, Parcel 16.03, Acreage 19.96, Current zoning RS20, Property owner Otter Creek Holdings LLC. I will entertain a motion to discuss.
Make a motion to discuss PC 2426.
Point of order, that will be just a motion to discuss, correct? We'd have to make a second motion to vote for approval.
I don't really, I'm not, a motion to discuss is a strange thing. It's just, it should be a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay. Callie McDonald, staff, if you will give us your report, please.
This project, Crowcut Ridge, this is a residential development plan. This is coming in at property zoning R20, 1 and 2 family residential district. It is coming in under the previous zoning ordinance. Just a little explanation on that. This was submitted earlier this year. They did receive their first round of review comments from staff. They did resubmit on time by deadline, and for whatever reason, the GovWell system did not indicate to staff that they had resubmitted. Staff was unaware that this project was to be reviewed and put onto a previous agenda. They have met the review comments, and so given that They had missed earlier meetings due to the GovWell issue. They're here today on this agenda. Again, this is coming in under the previous ordinance because they were submitted prior to adoption of the current development code. This is a residential development plan for Crocut Ridge residential subdivision. It's located at 7391 Crocut Road. It contains 15 single-family detached residential lots, 2 new open space lots. It will extend existing Bear Trace Road, public right-of-way. Will be constructed in a single phase. The lots do range from a minimum of 20,000 square foot, which is the minimum required, up to the largest lot, which is 171,807 square feet, which is approximately 4 acres. That and Lot 108 both contain, Lot 107 and 108 are the largest lots. They do contain portions of the flood hazard area on the rear portions of those lots. They're larger to allow building areas at the front of those lots. Crocut Row will remain shown to be located on Lot 102 off of Crocut Ridge. There is an existing home there. Will be accessed from the extension of Bear Trace Road. Lot 101 of the subdivision is shown to access Crocut Row only and will not access the extension of Bear Trace Road. Total area contained within the 2 open space lots is just over 3.15 acres. The smaller of the 2 contains the metal kiosk for the subdivision. No other structures are proposed in open space 2, which again also contains a large portion of the flood hazard area that is present on this property. Both of the open space areas also will function as public utility and drainage easements. The property was rezoned from RS40 to R20 in June of 2025. That request did come from the owner at that time. So again, it is zoned R20, contains 19.96 acres. There is flood hazard area on the property, but no building envelopes are located within any of the flood hazard area. All building areas are outside of the flood hazard area. Properties to the north, south, and west are all located within Fairview municipal boundaries. The property to the east is located within Williamson County. All surrounding properties are also zoned R20 at the time. And Williamson County property is on MGA 5. The 2040 Fairview Forward Plan does classify this as new residential medium neighborhood, which does list the RS40, R20 zone districts as appropriate zone districts, as well as the requested single-family detached residential land use is also noted as an appropriate land use for this property. Staff is recommending Planning Commission to approve the residential development plan for the Crocut Ridge residential subdivision in order to create 15 single-family detached residential lots, 2 new open spaces, as well as extending Bear Trace Road and existing public right-of-way, as well as installing all necessary stormwater, water, and sewer infrastructure, as it was resubmitted on May 5th, 2026.
Thank you. Will the representative who is here tonight please step forward, state your name and address for the record, please?
Jay Castor, Koester, with SEC Incorporated at 850 Middle Tennessee Boulevard, Murfreesboro.
Thank you. Is there anything you want to add to their report?
The only question I had was the existing house. Staff wants to have access off Bear Trace Road, which would be the back side of the house, versus having a flag lot or an access easement through Lot 101 to service the existing house to the front. That's my only concern.
Got it. All right, from the Planning Commission, any questions, any feedback, question, or comments?
Madam Chair, I have a question.
Sir, Commissioner?
Lot 101, that lot is right on the curve. I can't see from the drawings, but what's the plan from a safety perspective to protect whatever home would go there from, cars coming around that corner If they were to miss that curve, or there was some black ice, or there was something, is there anything that can provide safety to that structure?
We hadn't thought of anything like that. If you so desire, we can try to add something for that.
Can everyone on the board see that curve where Lot 101 is?
Yep.
Not quite sure if there's anything in our code book that would require, because it's so close to the road, the edge of 101, if there's any requirements from, a barricade or something that would come around that corner?
I think our new standards require some kind of buffer, like landscape buffer, when it's a lot abuts secondary, I don't know if this, you consider this an major arterial road.
I believe you're on the right track. Just want to remind everybody, this is under the old zoning code.
Gotcha. Which doesn't require any kind of buffer.
Madam Chair,
Sir?
to Mr. Ritt's point, we do have a regulation within the subdivision regulations for a driveway to be located a minimum of 50 feet away from the nearest point of curvature of the road. That is in a very sharp turn on Crow Cut Road. It's approximately a 90-degree turn there, and that driveway is shown coming off of the 90-degree turn straight into that lot. So there is a requirement for that within the current subdivision regulations.
So for the for the order of precedence, maybe this is a city attorney question. If we want to submit an amendment or something to see a better plan for that lot in relation to public safety or whatever's in the code book, how would we approach that the right way?
Let me jump in, Patrick. That's okay. Driveways being shown under the old code I believe are not required, showing driveways and where they're connecting. They are showing driveways, and they're showing they're connecting to an existing driveway that is at the corner of Crow Cut Road. I don't know if an amendment to the site plan needs to happen, but maybe we could, handle that in staff to make sure they're meeting that subdivision regulation, that the driveway is not located within 50 feet of that point of curvature. I believe that can be appropriate, but that's just a suggestion.
Madam Chair.
That could be a condition. I think we could add that as a condition, something along the lines of what Curtis said, directing that driveway not to be within 50 feet.
Sir?
I guess my question for the staff is there any spot in this lot that would be 50 foot from the point of curvature to meet that standard?
Allow me one moment.
Wow, Mr. Broad.
Do you know that answer, sir? The frontage of your lot on lot 101?
Not right off the top of my head, but just looking at the drawings, it would be very close if we can meet it by shoving it all the way to the north, up the north side of Lot 101. However, there is another existing entrance that is in the southeast corner of Lot 101 that's shared.
I mean, personally, I definitely think I'd like to hear the answer to that question before sending this through, whether we need to make an amendment. I mean, it almost seems that it needs to go the other way from what you guys are proposing, rather than 102 accessing from an easement on Crow Cut. 101 almost needs to be accessed from the cul-de-sac and an easement through the 102 lot.
Madam Chair.
Sure.
While Mr. Broadbent is getting us an answer on that, a couple other pieces. I noticed on the plan, there is no sidewalk shown along Crow Cut Road. There is a requirement, again, within the subdivision regulations for 104.2 for sidewalks along existing streets, and for 103.101 for substandard streets, which Crow Cut Road falls within. I move to amend the resolution to add that the development will meet subdivision regulation for 103.101 substandard streets, and that they install curb and gutter, sidewalks, and a grassed lawn along Crow Cut Road, which would match the adjacent neighborhood.
Second.
Right, that is Greer and King on that amendment. Any further discussion on that? Okay.
We want to let you guys get through that
I would go ahead and
amendment.
vote on that
then-
amendment,
yeah.
and then we can come back to this other issue.
All right,
We
any
do have
further-
a measurement, though, so.
Any further conversation on the amendment? Otherwise, we'll take a vote. Okay. Ms. Howe, if you will.
Mr. Greer,
Aye.
Mr. King,
Aye.
Mr. Dawson,
Aye.
Ms. Shoelist,
Aye.
Mr. Pate,
Aye.
Mr. Callie,
Aye.
Mr. Ritt,
Aye.
Vice Mayor McDonald,
Aye.
Mayor Anderson.
Aye.
Okay, the amendment passes 9-0-0. All right, back to the original motion. Mr. Broadbent, do you have something you'd like to share?
I had a measurement, and then I double-checked myself to make sure this plan was actually to 100 scale, and it is not. It's indicating a different scale, so I have to do some math for a second.
Sure.
Apologies.
Madam Chair,
Mayor?
can we go back to the last slide or picture? I wanted to ask a question about, you were mentioning that there's an existing, in 101, there's an existing drive.
Yes.
Okay. Is that just to 101 or does it go across?
Well, originally, we went to the existing house in lot 102, but right now it's shortened back, so that it only serves 101
What material is that made out of?
bituminous.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Bituminous or asphalt.
Okay.
All right, I've got the number.
Sure.
The lot frontage is over 170 feet, and from the nearest point of curvature, they have approximately 80 feet to construct a driveway. Therefore, if you can construct a driveway up to 30 feet wide and still be meeting that requirement. So there is that potential.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's all.
Question about Lot 102, the existing structure. So the front of the house actually faces Lot 101, and the back of the house is what faces the street now. I know where this is under the old code, but subdivision regulations, is that allowable?
Madam Chair,
Sure.
it is allowable because it's an existing structure.
Okay. I knew you'd know that answer.
Madam Chair, I would point out, related back to the mayor's question.
Sure.
And I believe what the gentleman was saying was that access on 101, there is also an access there that goes to that property just south of the curve as well. So I just wanted to point that out. It's not related to this particular request before you, but just so you all know, there is the driveway for the existing home, but there is also an access that comes off of that for that property to the south there. Just for full context of what's kind of going on around there, around that curve.
That's what I was trying to point out, and also it's paved. It's not just like a gravel something that somebody just randomly put there, it's paved.
All right, any further discussion? Any questions?
Madam Chair.
Mr. Greer?
The 2040 Fairview Forward Comprehensive Plan shows this property with the proposed greenway going along the TVA easement and connecting into the TVA easement as it runs through Bowie Nature Park. Currently, City Center is, their development is building part of the greenway into Bowie Nature Park. Ultimately, it will connect across the TVA easement. I believe that there should be a contribution from this development to build their section along the TVA easement, provide pedestrian access for the greenway.
Okay. Anything else?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
I move to amend the resolution to require the Crowcut Ridge subdivision to construct the proposed greenway from the 2040 plan along the TVA easement and provide pedestrian access from their development to Crowcut Road for the greenway access.
Right, second?
Second. No,
No,
sorry.
you go.
I thought you were calling for it. My bad.
All right, any further discussion on that proposed amendment? Okay, Ms. Howe, if you will, call the vote.
Mr. Greer,
Aye.
Ms. Schulis,
Aye.
Mr. King,
Aye.
Mr. Dawson,
Aye.
Mr. Pate,
Aye.
Mr. Callie,
Aye.
Mr. Ritt,
Aye.
Vice Mayor McDonald,
Aye.
Mayor Anderson.
All right, the motion for amendment, the second amendment passes 900.
Madam Chair.
Sir?
This is a question, or I guess just really just a concern that I'd like to hear the applicant's plans on how exactly this lot will end up looking. Is lot 107. It just seems like there's a lot going on that lot. I don't know. I'm just wondering what it's going to look like at the end of that. Is that a same size home that you have in the rest of the development, or you're going to have to, how much workable space do you have there? Is that, on a map, it looks tiny. It might not be in real life. That's why I just wanted.
I do not know that area off the top of my head.
Appears to be cut off in on some sheets and full size on others.
Wanted to show this curve and the existing conditions. This is the existing house, and this is the existing driveway that then connects to another parcel located to the south of this development. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, sir, you guys are just going to continue to use that driveway, but obviously, I guess, what's your intentions there? Are you intending on using the existing driveway or proposing one further down?
Right now, we are just proposing to reuse that driveway. So it'll come to maybe the front third of the lot 101, and then they just come off that to the new house. If you want us to move the driveway to be 50 feet from the curvature, then we would remove our portion.
Madam Chair,
Sir?
do we know if there's been a history of accidents or someone going off the road in that area? I mean, it may be a good question to ask, just because if it's not designed the right way, it could add to more confusion. You know how dark it gets in the back of some of these roads, just someone thinking the road's going straight and all of a sudden they ram into that brick, structure or something. Just curious if anyone here knows that answer. I mean, we do have a police officer in the house that might know something about that.
Just to add to that, I've not requested any crash reports from the police department on that particular area.
Any further discussion, any questions?
Madam Chair.
Sir?
Mr. Broadbent, have you verified that the terminus of Bear Trace Road is more than 150 feet from the property line?
Yes, I have that answer. Just give me seconds to confirm because of the scale issue. Yes, it does not meet that requirement. It is approximately 90 feet from the property line, calculated from the center of the roundabout.
What is that? Can you
Yeah,
explain
so
that?
we have a subdivision regulation that requires that the terminus of the cul-de-sac can be no nearer than 150 feet from the property line. So that road would shorten.
The point of it, Ms. Schulis, is for the neighbors that abut this property, their backyard would have a cul-de-sac essentially in their backyard because it's closer than 150 feet from the property line.
Is it for lot 107 or behind 107?
It's on the north side for lot 115 and 102. The two on the right-hand side of our screen up there are both considered knuckles, not cul-de-sacs.
Gotcha.
And the one on the left would be the cul-de-sac. And then back to Vice Mayor McDonald's point about lot 107 being significantly challenged with FEMA floodplain and topography. There is a provision within the subdivision regulations, if I can pull it up here, for general lot requirements for 4102.1, suitability of land. The Planning Commission has the ability to determine land located within the boundary of a proposed subdivision, which the Planning Commission finds unsuitable for subdivision or development due to flooding, steep slopes, rock formations, problem soils, sinkholes, or other adverse earth formations or topography, utility easements, or other features which may be harmful to the safety, health, and general welfare of the inhabitants of the land may be included within the development, but shall not be included within the minimum lot area. They have removed that within their plan from the minimum lot area. But for us to be able to evaluate it, I think that we need a plan that shows the cul-de-sac pulled back and a plan that shows grading on all of the lots to see that it is a truly viable option for a buildable lot. And with that, I move that we defer this project for 30 days so that the engineers and developer can get together to determine and make those corrections to the plan.
Second.
All right, Greer, McDonald, on that deferment.
Madam Chair, I did have one more
Sure.
question / comment regarding the cul-de-sac up there at the end that it was just being discussed between 115 and 102. Regardless of ultimately how that ends up looking, I think you have traffic coming straight down that road, shining headlights straight into the back of those other lots. Is there any plan to put some sort of landscape buffer to cut down on that so the lot 5 isn't constantly under spotlight surveillance from passing cars?
That I do not know.
I think it would be a kind gesture, a neighborly gesture, to provide some sort of barrier there to block that light from shining through. I don't know if there's a requirement to do so, but I think it would probably go a long way with whoever's in that lot there.
Before we vote on that, Kevin, when was this submitted?
It was submitted on, initial submittal was February 16th, 2026.
Okay, and have we acted on it up at this point? Or is
We,
this
once it was submitted, it went through the process of staff applicant meeting. Staff did initial round of comments, review comments. Those were sent out. Those were addressed. And once they were addressed, the GovWell system did not trigger the status over for staff to review it again. And we were unaware it needed to be reviewed.
So it was completed, so we had a complete application as of when?
February, March of this year.
Do we have any concern about if we defer it, that it will be deemed approved? Because we didn't act on it? Which means that he either needs to request the deferral or we need to vote it down tonight. So I think the applicants heard that there's serious problems and concerns with the plan, so I think you need to consider whether you request that the board defer it for 30 days so you can address those, or I think you're risking a denial tonight.
Okay.
So, Mr. Greer, do you withdraw your deferment?
Vice Mayor McDonald, do you withdraw your second?
Withdrawn.
I will withdraw my deferral.
Cool. All right. So applicant, if you just want to say that you're going to request a deferment from us, and then we can vote on that.
Okay. I requested deferment,
For how long?
30 days.
Okay.
Make a motion to accept the applicant's request for deferral for 30 days.
Second.
All right. Pape and Greer. Any further discussion before we vote on that? Okay. Ms. Howell, if you will, call that vote.
Mr. Pape,
Aye.
Mr. Greer,
Aye.
Mr. King,
Aye.
Mr. Dawson,
Aye.
Ms. Schulis,
Aye.
Mr. Callie,
Aye.
Mr. Ritt,
Aye.
Vice Mayor McDonald,
Aye.
Mayor Anderson.
Aye.
All right, the applicant's request for a deferral was accepted with a vote of 9-0-0. Thank you, and
Okay.
hope to see you next month. Okay. Moving on to item E, PC Resolution PC 2526, Residential Development Plan, Sweetbriar Lane Subdivision, Map 22, Parcel 130.01, Acreage 3. Current zoning is CD 3L, property owner Larry Brown. I will entertain a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve PC 2526.
Second.
Callie and Pape. All right, staff, if you will, give us your report, please.
All right. This is property located at 7204 Sweetbriar Lane. This is a residential development plan. The applicant was Allison Corolla of T-Square Engineering, who is here this evening to address questions that you all may have. Property is Zone CD3L, Neighborhood Large Lot Character District. So this is coming in under the new development code. Mr. Corolla did submit this residential development plan for the subdivision. It does contain 5 single-family detached residential lots, 1 new public right-of-way, and 1 stormwater lot. Property was rezoned from RS40 to CD3L with the adoption of the new development code and zoning map on April 2nd, 2026. CD3L Character District does permit a density of 2 units per acre. Proposed subdivision has a density of 1.6 units per acre, therefore satisfying that requirement. Residential development plan does provide, will be constructed in a single phase with lot sizes ranging from 0.28 acres to 0.87 acres. Property does have no portion of the property is located within a special flood hazard area. All surrounding property owners are located within Fairview municipal boundaries, and all surrounding properties are also Zone CD3L, Neighborhood Large Lot Character District. And all surrounding properties do contain a single-family detached residential land use. Therefore, the proposed project does match the surrounding land uses. The Fairview Forward 2040 plan classifies this property as Legacy Neighborhood Residential Medium, which lists the appropriate zone districts as RS40 and R20, which do convert over to CD2W and CD3L within the new development code. Therefore, current zoning and the proposed land use of single-family detached residential is in compliance with the 2040 plan. Staff is recommending Planning Commission approve the residential development plan for the project at 7204 Sweetbriar Lane to create the 5 single-family detached residential lots, the 1 new public right-of-way, the 1 stormwater lot, and all necessary stormwater, water, and sewer infrastructure as was resubmitted on June 18th, 2026.
Thank you. Is there a representative tonight that would like to speak on the project? If you'll state your name and address, please.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, Allison Corolla with T-Square Engineering. We're at 111 Southeast Parkway Court in Franklin. Happy to answer any questions that you may have. I believe Mr. Chastain covered the majority of it, but again, here to answer any questions.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Are there any questions or discussion points from the Planning Commission?
Madam Chair,
Sir?
Mr. Chastain or Mr. Broadbent, Mr. Meek, was there a design certification letter submitted with any exceptions requested?
Allison, if you'd like to.
There was a letter of compliance submitted. There were no exceptions requested. Our understanding, based on conversation with staff, was that the tree bank request was no longer officially a variance request or an exception request, and that was looped into the approval. That is indicated, and those calculations are shown on the landscape plan.
The question that I have is within the subdivision regulations, there is the requirement for sidewalks along existing streets. And the plan that is before us does not have a sidewalk along Sweetbriar Lane. It has your shared use path ending at the terminus of your street at the intersection with Sweetbriar Lane.
Yes, sir. So I believe the intention there was to match the remaining portion of the subdivision, just primarily along that road, given that that road is relatively new and in pretty decent condition.
For me, I would either like to see the sidewalk constructed along there. It currently has a rural curb treatment, I believe is how it's called in our new code.
The new code has, I believe, ribbon curb for this
Ribbon
particular
curb.
drive. But,
Which matches the existing on Sweetbriar.
Allison, correct me if I'm wrong, you guys are utilizing curb and gutter
Correct. So after conversations with Mr. Broadbent, the existing cross-section in the development code does call for ribbon curb. However, given the drainage requirements of the stormwater manual and the stormwater ordinance, we felt that it was more important to capture that stormwater via storm inlets along the curbing. And so we're proposing extruded curb. That was discussed with staff, and I believe staff was on board with that request.
Otherwise, it would have to be a continuous swale on south side of proposed roadway, which would require driveway culverts on each of the driveways.
It would lend itself more so to an alley-looking road, and we felt that, to provide a true thoroughfare, that extruded curb was necessary.
Any further feedback? Any other questions?
Madam Chair,
Sure.
what would that shared path look like? Is that just a strip of grass that we're calling a shared path, or is that a,
That's a concrete cross-section,
okay.
and that also doubles as the bike lane as well, within the thoroughfare requirements under the new ordinance.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Madam Chair.
Sure.
Ms. Corolla, the plan set that we received, it does not show a curb and gutter section on the road section.
It is an extruded curb.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And then the 10-foot shared use path in the development code, it has that the shared use path should include a bike rack, a bicycle shelter, or a bicycle station. And I don't see any of those provided along the road for a shared use path. I will acknowledge that is a fairly short shared use path. But since you chose to use the road section, that is a requirement within the development code to have.
I think we'd be happy to add a U-mount or something of the sort, probably nearest the CBU, kind of in that area, to be more accessible for the homes as you're entering the subdivision. We can certainly add that.
Do you want to add that as a condition of approval?
Yes.
Okay.
I move to amend the resolution to add that the development provides a bike rack, a bicycle shelter, or a bicycle station in accordance with the development code table 5.2.4.b.
All right, do you have a second?
Second.
All right, Greer, Callie. Any further discussion on that before we vote? Okay, Ms. Howe, if you will call it.
Mr. Greer,
Aye.
Mr. Callie,
Aye.
Mr. King,
Aye.
Mr. Dawson,
Aye.
Ms. Shoelist,
Aye.
Mr. Callie. I'm sorry. Mr. Ritt,
Aye.
Vice Mayor McDonald,
Aye.
Mayor Anderson.
Aye.
Okay,
You missed me, but I'm
Mr. Pape, I knew I missed somebody. I'm sorry.
Aye.
all right, condition of approval to add a bike rack, bike rack to this motion, or to this residential development plan as a condition of approval, passes 900. Okay, any further discussion on the original motion? All right, hearing none.
Madam Chair, sorry. For the sidewalks along the existing street, Mr. Broadbent, is there a requirement within our regulations for them to pay into the sidewalk fund if they're granted an exception to doing the sidewalks along Sweetbriar Lane.
Planners, I believe that only applies to commercial properties in the design review manual. I'll have to confirm that with planning staff.
I'll have to take a second to look in the review manual for that one.
Wait, this is under the new development code. The design review manual doesn't apply.
That would be correct.
You're stating that there is language in the new development code in regards to a sidewalk fund in lieu of.
It's in the subdivision regulations. It's 4-104.5, waivers and alternative pedestrian ways. Developers and the Planning Commission may reach alternative arrangements concerning sidewalks where strict compliance with the provisions of this section would cause an undue hardship due to previously approved plats and/or development plans. Such alternative provisions may include 1, payment to a city fund for construction of the sidewalk by the city at this location at a later date, or 2, the actual construction of sidewalks at another location. In the absence of mutual agreement, the developer shall construct the sidewalks in the manner provided herein.
I should let planning staff answer these questions.
Sorry, Mr. Broadbent, you're just sitting in front of me tonight. With that, Ms. Corolla, are you seeking an exception to not do a sidewalk along Sweetbriar Lane, or would you prefer to install the sidewalk along Sweetbriar Lane?
I think if there's the possibility before the board to request an either or, I'd be happy to relay back to my client. I mean, we're talking 60 feet of sidewalk. I just don't want to commit to that. So if there was the ability to request an either or, that would be preferred. But again, we're happy to comply either way, just
I make a motion to amend the resolution to require the development to either provide a sidewalk along Sweetbriar Lane or pay into the city's sidewalk fund at the determination of staff using current construction rates for sidewalk construction.
Second.
That was Greer and King. Any further discussion before we vote on that one? Okay. Ms. Howell?
Mr. Greer,
Aye.
Mr. King,
Aye.
Mr. Dawson,
Aye.
Ms. Schulist,
Aye.
Mr. Pape,
Aye.
Mr. Callie,
Aye.
Mr. Ritt,
Aye.
Vice Mayor McDonald,
Aye.
Mayor Anderson.
Aye.
All right, the amendment to the resolution to either pay into the sidewalk fund or add sidewalks to the project passes 9-0-0. Okay. Mr. Greer, do you have anything else to add?
I've got one more. Mr. Carter, this would be a question for you. Within our development code, Article 8.5.4.d, notice and public hearing, on the table 8.5.4.d.1, summary of notice, it states that site development plan approvable by Planning Commission should have a published, a posted, and a mailed notice to adjacent property owners. In the event that those notices were not made to the adjacent property owners and or published in the newspaper or posted on the site, what would be our next step with this project?
Mr. Grillo, were they not posted?
We did host a neighborhood meeting and sent out mailers to all of the adjacent property owners indicating that a site development plan was forthcoming.
Mr. Carter, this is for city staff to have sent out for the Planning Commission meeting. It's supposed to be noticed to the citizens that are adjacent to the property so that they're aware of what developments are coming beside them.
The assertion that the city staff didn't do that?
That's correct. Staff was unaware of this requirement. It's not been required in previous ordinance. It's not a state law requirement, and so it's something that in the new code that was unaware of, and we did not mail those out. Was unaware of that until just before this meeting.
Ms. Corolla, do you have any objection to the city deferring the matter for 30 days so they can comply with the regulation?
Sounds like that's our only option here.
I think so.
Okay. I think so long as
I
we're
think it
with
better
the
protects
understanding
your,
that happens.
protects your client also, because if we don't comply and a citizen
Sure.
gets upset, it could be challenged, which could cause your client problems in the back end.
Sure. I would like to request any additional comments or anything. Getting a little close to August and may not be here next planning commission. And so just, if there's any comments or anything, would like to address now, if that's appropriate.
So, Mr. Greer, I think you can move to defer it for 30 days and direct city staff to comply with their own regulations. But for Ms. Corolla's, I think she's saying that hopefully she doesn't have the baby tonight.
August 10th, so August 11th is
But if
pushing
you
it.
have questions for her, she's requesting them tonight. So,
True.
Madam Chair,
Mayor.
so who's responsible for sending these notices out? Since applicant did what they were supposed to do, and now they're being, in my opinion, penalized for that, which I don't think is very fair. Who's responsible for this?
The new code, as Mr. Greer stated, it's like section 8.5.4, does require a newspaper publication, a sign to be posted on the property, as well as a letter sent to each adjacent property owner for,
Specifically 10 days prior to the meeting.
yes, 10 days prior to this meeting, for site plans, site development plans, not just a rezoning and not just for annexations, but for site plans as well, site development plans as well. That is a responsibility for city staff now to find that information, create the letters, as well as mail them out. That
So
is
who
a,
physically does that?
Something I want to add, I think that role is assigned to the zoning administrator, which currently is a vacant position in the city of Fairview. So I believe that is correct. I'm still trying to find the information, but just wanted to add to that.
I'm not really sure if it specifies the position. It just says, I do know that city staff, whether it be zoning administrator or generally speaking, city staff is required to now create and send out those letters to all adjacent property owners.
So is our city staff well aware of all of the requirements in our zoning ordinance?
We are becoming aware of them, yes, as we now are receiving projects coming under the new zoning ordinance, yes.
I have a real problem with this applicant being penalized when she did her job by sending out the letters. And, I mean, we still have staff, even though we're missing 2 positions, we still have staff in our department. So,
Correct.
I mean, this is a big oversight, in my opinion.
Madam Chair,
Sure.
I make a motion to defer this application for 30 days.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, that was Greer, Callie.
Madam Chair, I have a question.
Sure.
All the amendments that have been made on this will carry over, or are we going to have to do all of those again?
Madam Chair, I would recommend that the staff add those to the resolution when it's presented in the next meeting, so we don't have to go through those all again.
Yeah,
So if you guys can kind of follow what we did tonight, add them to the resolution that's presented on that, and we'll be good to go.
Mr. Pape is exactly correct.
I think just something to note as well, if I may, if staff is open to a resubmittal, we could certainly figure out, the sidewalk along Sweetbriar right prior to the next meeting. And so that would be one less condition, for instance, that we would bring before you on the 11th.
So that you could execute that all within the next 30 days?
Within the week, sure. If staff would be open to a resubmittal,
Sure.
letting us resubmit.
Okay.
So that would include the sidewalk and the bicycle rack.
Sure. Any further conversation on that amendment to defer? Sorry, motion to defer? Okay. Do we call a vote? Ms. Howell, sorry.
Mr. Greer,
Aye.
Mr. Callie,
Aye.
Mr. King,
Aye.
Mr. Dawson,
Aye.
Ms. Eulis,
Aye.
Mr. Pape,
Aye.
Mr. Ritt, Vice Mayor McDonald,
Aye.
Mayor Anderson.
Aye.
All right, the motion to defer for 30 days has passed 9-0-0. Okay.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Moving on to item F, PC Resolution PC 2626, Acceptance of Infrastructure, Aiden Woods, Phase 2.
I will, given that Mr. Broadbent is digging into something, I will read these for him.
Sure.
This is a resolution of the Planning Commission recommending the Fairview Board of Commissioners accept the infrastructure related to Aiden Woods Phase 2, located on properties south of Aiden Road and north of Kempton Court and Chessington Drive. A1 Home Builders, the owner, has completed the subdivision improvements associated with Phase 2 of the Aiden Woods subdivision as required and shown on the approved final plat recorded in Plat Book P78, page 35A. City of Fairview has received the as-built drawings for Phase 2. City engineer has inspected the subdivision improvements and has determined that said improvements have been constructed in substantial compliance with the approved improvement plans and as reflected on the as-built drawings. The staff is recommending that Planning Commission recommend to the Fairview Board of Commissioners to accept the completed infrastructure associated with Phase 2 of the Aiden Woods residential subdivision. If you would have any questions, I would direct those towards Mr. Broadbent specifically for any
Thank
of the
you.
infrastructure.
First, I'll entertain a motion to approve this item.
Make a motion to approve PC 2626.
Second.
Callie, Greer. All right. Is there anyone on the Planning Commission that has any questions about the acceptance of this infrastructure?
Madam Chair.
Yes.
Mr. Broadbent.
Yes, sir.
Can you confirm that the bridge that is located between Aiden Woods Phase 2 and Aiden Woods Phase 3 is located within Aiden Woods Phase 3?
Yes, I can confirm that.
Thank you.
While he is looking into that, or is that, he answered that? Okay, sorry.
Sorry, yes, the bridge is in Phase 3. Apologies, if that wasn't clear.
Sure. All right, any other questions? Any further discussion? Hearing none. Ms. Howe, if you will call the vote on this one.
Mr. Callie,
Aye.
Mr. Greer,
Aye.
Mr. King,
Aye.
Mr. Dawson,
Aye.
Ms. Eulis,
Aye.
Mr. Pape,
Aye.
Mr. Ritt,
Aye.
Vice Mayor McDonald,
Aye.
Mayor Anderson.
Aye.
All right. Item F, PC Resolution PC 2626. Motion passes 9-0-0. All right, item G, PC Resolution PC 2726. Acceptance of Infrastructure Cumberland Estates Phase 3. I will entertain a motion to approve this
Make a
item.
motion to approve PC 2726.
Second.
Callie Pape. All right, staff.
It's a resolution of the Planning Commission, City of Fairview, recommending the Fairview Board of Commissioners accept the infrastructure related to Cumberland Estates, Phase 3 and Phase 3A, located on property north and east of Braden Drive. Cumberland Estates LLC has completed the subdivision improvements associated with Phase 3 and 3A of Cumberland Estates subdivision. as they were required and shown on the approved final plat recorded in Plat Book P75, page 12. City of Fairview has received as-built drawings for Phase 3A of Cumberland Estates subdivision. City engineer has inspected the subdivision improvements and has determined that all improvements have been constructed in substantial compliance with the approved improvement plans as well as reflected on the as-built drawings. Staff is recommending Fairview Planning Commission recommend to the Fairview Board of Commissioners to accept the completed infrastructure associated with Phase 3 and 3A of Cumberland Estates residential subdivision.
Thank you. Any questions from the Planning Commission? Anything for discussion?
Motion to approve.
I think we already have a motion on the table.
Yeah,
We do.
sorry, did.
Did we?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
All right, hearing no further discussion, Ms. Howe, if you will call the vote.
Mr. Kelly.
Aye.
Mr. Pape.
Aye.
Mr. King.
Aye.
Mr. Dawson.
Aye.
Mr. Greer.
Aye.
Ms. Shoelist.
Aye.
Mr. Ritt. Vice Mayor McDonald.
Aye.
Mayor Anderson.
Aye.
All right, motion passes 900. All right, item H, PC Resolution PC 2826. Rezoning of 7110 County Line Road, map 19, parcel 001.01, acreage 5.05. Current zoning CD2, proposed zoning SD-LI, applicant Jeff Johnson. Additionally, rezoning of 1550 Highway 96 North, map 19, parcel 2, acreage 7.26. Current zoning CD4, proposed zoning SD-LI, applicant Jeff Johnson. I will entertain a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve PC 2826?
Second.
Is that Greer? Correct. All right, Callie Greer. All right, staff, if you will, give the report, please.
Mr. Joshua Flake, the applicant, has submitted a request to rezone, excuse me, the entire parcel, approximately 5.1 acres of the property located at 7110 County Line Road, from CD2 Rural Character District to SDLI, which is Light Industrial Special District, as well as to rezone the entire 7.26 acre parcel located at 1550 Highway 96 North from current character area CDC4, Neighborhood Corridor, also to SDLI, Light Industrial Special District. Properties are located on the east side of County Line Road, just north of the intersection of County Line Road and Highway 96, as you'll see on the screen here. The larger portion is obviously located on the north side of Highway 96 North and just east of the intersection of 96 North and County Line Road. Properties located to the north are within Williamson County in zone MGA 1. Properties alone located to the west across County Line Road are located within Dixon County. Properties to the south and east are located within municipal boundaries of Fairview and are currently zoned CD4C, Neighborhood Corridor. Surrounding land uses are a mixture of single-family, detached residential, industrial commercial, as well as currently vacant / undeveloped property. Properties north of 7110 County Line Road do contain single-family detached residential land uses, as well as the property directly to the west across County Line Road. Properties to the south of 7110 County Line Road across Highway 96 and to the north are currently undeveloped. Property directly east of 1550 Highway 96 North is also vacant, while the next parcel to the east, 1540 Highway 96 North, is the location of L&L Equipment Sales. The 2040 Fairview Forward Plan identifies the property at 7110 County Line Road as future land use classification rural settlement. It does list appropriate zone districts as these are the previous zone district names: AR15A, AR5A, RS40, RSM40, and R20 with conservation development. These zone districts transitioned over to CD2 rural, CD2W woodlot, and CD3 neighborhood large lot character districts with the adoption of the new development code and zoning map. The 2040 plan identifies the property at 1550 Highway 96 North, the larger portion, parcel that you see on the screen. That is a future land use classification interchange business employment district. The future land use classification notes appropriate land uses as retail, restaurant, office, light industrial, multifamily residential, as well as civic/institutional. This business interchange future land use classification listed 7 zone districts as appropriate. Those included commercial interchange, commercial community, commercial mixed use, office general, industrial restrictive, as well as industrial general, and industrial special. Those previous zone districts have transitioned over to CD4, neighborhood center, CD4C, neighborhood corridor, as well as light industrial special district, which is being requested here, and SDHI, which is heavy industrial special district. The requested character district of SDLI does not align with appropriate character districts as listed in rural settlement. It does align with the appropriate character districts as listed in the interchange business employment district. Staff is recommending Planning Commission provide a favorable recommendation to the Fairview Board of Commissioners to approve this rezone, request to rezone the entire 5.1 acre portion on 7110 County Line Road and the entire 7.26 acre portion of property located at 1550 Highway 96 from the current zoning of CD4C to SDLI. If it was to move forward, it would be on the August 6th Board of Commissioner meeting for first reading, September 3rd for potential public hearing, and October 1st for potential second reading.
Thank you. Is there a representative here tonight for the project? If you will state your name and address for the record, please.
Hello, my name is Joshua Flake. Address is 6012 Venable Court in Fairview, Tennessee.
Thank you. Anything you want to add to the staff report?
No, I would add that when the 2040 plan was established, the 5 acre lot had not yet been incorporated into the city.
Okay. All right. Any questions from Mr. Greer?
Madam Chair. Mr. Carter, this item also has the same condition under 8.5.4.d for the summary of notice. As it's a rezoning, staff should publish the notice, post the notice, and mail the notice to the adjacent property owners. I don't believe that that has been done in this case, and so I would ask the applicant.
Staff, is that, since this is a rezoning, I think we're free to defer it for 30 days so staff can comply.
I move to defer this item for 30 days.
Greer, Callie. Any further discussion on the deferment? Hearing none. Ms. Howell, if you will call the vote.
Mr. Greer,
Aye.
Mr. Kelly,
Aye.
Mr. King,
Aye.
Mr. Dawson,
Aye.
Ms. Eulist,
Aye.
Mr. Pape,
Aye.
Mr. Ritt,
Aye.
Vice Mayor McDonald,
Aye.
Mayor Anderson.
Aye.
Motion to defer for 30 days passes 9-0. Thank you. All right, moving on to item 9, reports for discussion and information. City planning staff.
In terms of information, I guess you all may know, Bob, city manager, is not here this evening, but there has been a zoning administrator hired. I believe the start date will be July 27th, so the new zoning administrator will be here in office within a couple of weeks. And so we do have someone coming on there to fill that position. In terms of projects, just to give you an outlook, moving forward, next month agenda, Even prior to tonight's deferrals, we were looking at 10 projects for August. So just to give you an idea, we've had definitely a large uptick in submittals over the last couple of months. That would include, I believe it's an annexation, a couple of rezonings, as well as a non-residential site plan and at least 3 plats. And we also had 2 subdivisions that were deferred by applicants prior to the meeting tonight. So we were looking at about 10 projects prior to that. So we've definitely had a large uptick in submittals over the last couple of months. And I believe it seems to have somewhat gone back to about normal, to about 3 submittals for the September meeting. So it seems like there was just a spike there for the last couple of months. So just kind of have that in your mind that we are looking at a very large agenda for August.
Thank you. All right, city manager, none tonight. City engineer,
Nothing tonight.
cool. City attorney, apologies.
City staff doesn't need me to defend them or speak on their behalf, but I will. It is frustrating when notices aren't sent out. However, given that we have currently an associate planner that has not been with the city for very long, less than 90 days, I think. We have a new planner coming that's been hired, but he's not he or she, I don't even know which it is, hasn't been with the city at all. And so unfortunately, when we've lost our planner, Mr. Greer, and we have essentially a brand new associate planner and then another new hire that hasn't started yet, those things are going to happen. And it's unfortunate, but probably predictable. So bear with the staff. They're doing the best they can. I'm sure they'll get the notices out next time. So.
Thank you. All right, moving on to item 10, Planning Commission Roundtable. I will start this time. It has been presented or requested for a special meeting to occur following the Board of Zoning Appeals meeting on July 28th. We need a quorum to be able to hold the meeting, so I just have to give 24 hours notice. This is the official notice for the meeting. Staff, you want to give a little bit of background?
Yes, I will. I'll be glad to.
Yep.
There was a residential development plan that was submitted for this agenda. They are requesting a variance from standard within the new development code. So therefore, they're on the Board of Zoning Appeals meeting agenda for the 28th. Due to the fact that they are requesting that variance, it did not need to come to you all tonight for you all to review and approve. If you did, you would essentially be approving something you didn't have the authority to approve, which is the variance, and not to be providing vesting for something that's not going through Board of Zoning Appeals. And so once we provided that to the applicant, they had made the request if there could be a special called Planning Commission meeting on the evening of the 28th following the Board of Zoning Appeals meeting so that they could receive a decision on their variance request at the Board of Zoning Appeals meeting, as well as the residential development plan that would be following that or is related to the variance request. And PC, Planning Commission bylaws, the request for a special called meeting can either be by the call of the chair or by a simple majority of the Planning Commission members. And so I reached out to Ms. Schulis and just let her know that there had been a request for that meeting, and we've had some email communication back and forth, and the decision was made to bring it up during roundtable for the discussion.
Madam Chair.
Vice Chair.
I just don't think we should set the precedent of setting a special meeting just because they have to ask for a variance. They're asking for modifications to our ordinance, and I just don't think that's a precedent we should set, in my personal opinion. If it was an issue that we created or something, that's fine, but it just doesn't make sense to me. On top of the fact I won't be here July 28th anyway, but I just don't think it's a good precedent.
When I first read it, my inclination, because the next planning commission meeting is just 2 weeks later. So my inclination is to not officially call it because they can just feel like they could just wait 2 more weeks and it would be on the agenda.
I'm out of town.
Madam Chair.
Sure.
I couldn't agree more, Mr. Pape, especially with the workload that staff has going on right now and our new city planner taking his job on the 27th, I believe, which is a day prior to that. I'm sure he will have plenty on his plate to digest day one, and this is probably not the best to have day two have a meeting. And so if my vote would be to not have a special called meeting to accommodate one development. They are seeking a variance. It will likely, if the variance is approved, there might be modifications to their plans that they need to make prior to us reviewing it the following night or the same night. And so I would recommend that we don't have a special called meeting and just require them be on the August Planning Commission meeting.
Agreed.
Madam Chair,
Sure.
what's their circumstance for asking for this? Is there some contractual deadline or something that this, because this is not the norm? I just want to understand. I agree with what the board is saying, but I'm just trying to understand because we don't want to set precedents for something that's not dire for some reason we don't understand.
I have no knowledge of any contractual information for the project or the property or anything of that nature. I only know just because of the timing of the Board Zoning Appeals meeting and them not being able to be on the agenda tonight because needing the variance first. That's the only knowledge I have of the project, so I can't speak to any details in terms of what you were asking, contractual or otherwise.
Okay, and then the second question of that is, do we have a protocol at the city staff that when the request comes in, if it doesn't meet a certain criteria, it gets denied before it comes to the board? Just curious.
Yeah, yes, I mean, all the projects are submitted through GovWell, and this is for any project, whether it comes to Planning Commission or Board of Zoning Appeals. It will come into GovWell. It will be, all their documents are loaded in by the applicant. That is processed through to each staff member. We have our opportunity to review that. We ensure that all has been uploaded, all the documents that are required, and then we begin our review process. And so if those things are not completed, then they would not come to you all or the Board of Zoning Appeals for that matter.
Right, but I asked that because you guys are busy enough as a staff to let alone just get random phone calls, hey, we'd like this to happen. If it doesn't meet a certain criteria, then it shouldn't even come to this meeting. That's all, thanks.
So hearing that, I will not officially call a special meeting on July 28th. Cool beans. All right. Welcome, Planning Commissioner Greer. You have already proven your worth, and we are happy to have you. All right. That's all that I've got, so I'll move on to Vice Chair Pape.
Again, welcome, Mr. Greer. Glad to have you on board. Staff, I want to say I know it's a tough transition. We're going into the new code and going through that, so I appreciate everything. I do also appreciate that the agenda came out a little bit sooner and we had time to do back and forth. I sent several emails and they responded immediately, so I do appreciate that. Thank you all.
All right, Mayor Anderson.
Not used to going second. I have my thoughts together. I'm not sure who to address this to, but I've got couple things that citizens have reached out like continually on. So one is the Welcome to Fairview signs. I guess I need to find out, since I saw that it was supposed to be white acrylic letters that would show up, and the steel that doesn't show up is what was constructed. I would really like to know who approved that and why it was built that way. I mean, I I can't see, I can't see the word Fairview when I drive past them. And I'm getting call after call after call. So I don't know how we rectify that, but, and if, you know, I'm happy to make a phone call myself if we need to. I don't know if it's Kimley Horn. I don't know if it's the person who built them. I looked up all of the information on them, and it says white acrylic letters, and they're definitely not white acrylic, and you definitely, I mean, it's hard to see what the word even says. So I think the signs are beautiful, other than I can't read them. And I think a lot of other people have, well, I know a lot of other people because I'm getting all the phone calls. So that's kind of one of my questions. Another question is, what is the rule on chickens and roosters in our community? There appears to be a rooster on Crowcut, and the person has an acre or less that is keeping everyone in that whole area up all night, and I'm getting calls about it. So I just need to find out. I believe I know what the rule or the, you know, the rule on chickens is, but I need to know. I didn't think that we allowed roosters unless it was a farm of large area. The other, one other thing is, do we have a rule on how many liquor stores can be in the city of Fairview? And I know we do. I just want to be confirmed on that.
In regards to the Welcome to Fairview signage, I've had no part in who that was bid out to. I believe that was the previous city manager. Is that correct, Ethan?
Did someone review the shop drawings?
I was not given those shop drawings. I don't know who's responsible for reviewing those. I would assume it might be me, potentially, but honestly, it would probably be Kimley. Kimley Horn is the engineer. So a typical process is that Kimley Horn designs it, and then whoever the contractor is submits shop, like you said, shop drawings to review, and that review would be done by Kimley Horn, reviewed and approved by them. So they would be sent to me as like information potentially, but not a requirement. So that's Mayor. That's where I would start. Is
So
Kimley Horn.
call Kimley Horn, because
Yes, ma'am.
I've read the design criteria, and it's white acrylic letters, and they're definitely not that.
No.
And I think if they were white acrylic letters on that dark background, we'd be able to see it really well. And we spent a lot of money on those signs, so I really would like them done properly, so when people actually, they do what they're supposed to do, and when people come into the city, they can actually see what it says. So I will reach out to Kimley Horn. As far as the roosters and chickens, I mean, I don't want to put anybody on the spot, but that's just something that I was asked about, that maybe somebody could figure out some information on that.
I mean, I think we just need to check the ordinance. I can check the ordinance and report back to you, Mayor.
Well,
But
and-
rather than calling the mayor, they probably need to call the police department. and-
Everybody, I'm welcoming
'Cause it's a-
whoever calls me, but everybody calls me for everything, so I'm
No, I know, but
trying to,
I would
bring
redirect
it.
them to file a complaint with the police because it's a violation of the noise ordinance. So that's not something that the mayor typically
okay,
gets concerned
so
with. They need to call the police and file a noise ordinance violation. if
I know what the
rooster-
ruling is on chickens. I just did not think that we allowed roosters
Most cities
because
don't
of
allow
the constant
roosters.
crowing.
That would be unusual to allow a rooster. So, I mean, it's a violation of the noise ordinance, and it's probably a violation of farm animals. We probably have a code that says that that's not permitted in the city. So they need to file.
So what you're recommending is that I tell them to call the police, right? Okay.
Yeah, it's a noise ordinance
All right.
violation. Mr. Pape was shaking his head in the affirmative, so I think he agrees. And then as
We
far
don't
as
have
liquor
a-
stores,
we don't have a codes
typically,
enforcement.
I don't know what what the law is in Fairview offhand, but that's something else we can check the ordinance unless the planner can speak to the, I don't know offhand, but I'm sure there's a limitation of how many we can have per population. That would be typical in Tennessee.
Yeah, there's nothing in the zoning ordinance, whether old ordinance, previous ordinance, or the current ordinance related to that. My guess is it's just in the city code somewhere that we would have to dig into and determine what that is.
And I believe Rachel, it may be the city recorder typically holds those ones that are certificated or permitted. So Rachel may know that. Ms. Jones may know that offhand also. So
I just need to let them know to call the police because of the noise. This lady is she has medical issues, and it's keeping, and several people, but especially her.
I wouldn't be
keeping her
happy
up
with a
all night.
rooster next to me either. So, I mean, that's
Okay.
unkind to your neighbors.
As far as the amount of liquor stores in our city, isn't that a certain amount?
I don't remember the exact amount, Mayor, but
Either 3 or 4.
it is in the
I just-
municipal code, and it was based on a population. Ms. Jones could assist you with that
Okay.
answer.
I'll reach out to her on that, too.
Jones is texting me.
She's probably
She must be
watching. Hey,
watching.
Rachel.
The code allows 3 liquor stores. So I don't know how many.
That
we-
answers the question. We have
currently.
3, so that's what we're allowed. And is it, well, she doesn't have to answer that. I'll talk to her later about it. I was just going to ask what, since our population is probably significantly more than what the census provided in 2020, I think it was 2020, that might change, but it would have to be a new.
A special census
Yes,
or
we're
wait till
not-
2030.
yeah, we're
when
not
there's another
doing that,
census.
so.
I doubt that, unless there's some financial reason to do a special census, they're expensive. So unless you're going to get more federal dollars or something, probably not something to do.
Okay, and just so I know, and I get that we're in transition right now and everything, but, we got a lot going on, so, who would be the person responsible for sending out the notices?
I reviewed that particular section and even incorporated AI into the review of the development code to determine who would be the sole responsible party for sending out those letters, and it is not indicated. It simply says the city. It does not assign a role. It does not define who that person is. It simply says the city shall mail out letters.
Okay, and so being the city, there would have to be somebody who would know that this development's going on or whatever, and know that letters need to go out, so.
In most cities, it's going to be the development director or the senior planner. That's who it's essentially going to be.
And from what I've researched, typically municipalities would assign that to the applicant. I believe, our development code is similar to other municipalities in our county, and I'm almost certain that those development codes are assigning it to the applicant, and I believe that's standard practice.
Well, and so since the applicant did send out notices,
What I'm indicating is that requirement for the letters is currently assigned to the city. I'm saying other municipalities assign that to the applicant.
and is this new to this, is it new to right now, or have we, Ethan, did you send out letters to people when you were?
As a city planner, I had never reviewed a project under the development code and got to the point of having a planning commission meeting with a project under the new development code.
The answer is it's part of the new code. It's the
Correct.
new code, not the old.
Well, I mean, I realize that, but I didn't know, you just answered my question, so this would be the first meeting that this would be affecting.
Correct.
Okay.
And to Kevin's point, it goes against state law. I mean, it's like an additional, is that correct?
It doesn't go against. My point is, state law does not require notification mailings for a site plan or for a public hearing at planning commission for a rezoning or anything of that nature. So I say that to simply make the point that this is part of the new development code. This is the first meeting that these projects have come in under the new development code. So the new development code is requiring additional steps above and beyond state requirements. So
It's
therefore,
typical of development codes.
so therefore, we've gone essentially from a zoning ordinance to a development code. It is more in-depth, it is more in detail, and it is going above and beyond what is required. So therefore, there's just more additional steps to take, even for a site plan to come through, versus what we've been used to for the last decades under the old code. So these were not, there were no mailings required for a site plan or for a plat or anything of that nature under the former zoning ordinance. This is all new requirements found within the new development code, as Mr. Pape had indicated.
So we're doing things that the state doesn't require.
That's correct. Which is, we can do that. We can do that if we want. We or other communities do this as well, to provide notification of any project that would come forward to Planning Commission. So there is the opportunity to do that. Any community can do that. There's nothing restricting you from going above and beyond state requirements in terms of notification. It's just stating that it is there, and it's just another thing, another step that we have to incorporate into the process now.
The state doesn't require the city to have planning at all. So, I mean, it's just part and parcel of the new development code.
Okay, so do we have other items that are coming before the Planning Commission that letters need to be sent out so we don't go through this again with all the deferrals?
We have already started that. Marissa and Nick have already handled everything for the Board of Zoning Appeals meeting on July 28th, which those require that anyway because they do require a public hearing before Board of Zoning Appeals. So they've already handled all of that. They're getting those ready to mail out, and we'll start the process in creating those letters for the August PC meeting as we get closer to that, and we get all of the resubmittals back in, and we know exactly which projects will be on that agenda. So yes, we've got all that in place now, and that it's already taken care of for the July 28th Board of Zoning Appeals meeting, and will be taken care of in August once we know the exact projects on that agenda.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Vice Mayor McDonald.
Nothing tonight.
Okay. Mr. Callie?
Nothing.
Okay. Mr. Dawson?
No comment.
All right. Mr. King?
Nothing for me tonight. Thank you.
All right. Mr. Ritt? No, ma'am. All right. And finally, Mr. Greer.
Thank you for having me up here for my first meeting.
All right. Was that it? All right. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
So move.